Sara and Betty had been best friends since they were children. They grew up on the same street, walked to school together, and even shared the same dream of becoming teachers one day. Sara was quiet and gentle. Betty was loud and full of energy. But somehow their differences made them perfect friends. One Saturday morning, something small turned into something big. Sara and Betty were choosing a gift for their old teacher, Mrs. Coleman, who was retiring. Betty wanted to buy her a colorful scarf. Sara wanted to buy her a book of poems. They stood in the middle of the store, each holding their choice, and suddenly their voices grew louder. I don't understand why you always choose boring things, Betty said, shaking the book in her hand. Sara frowned. And you always choose the most expensive things. We don't need to waste money just to impress someone. People in the store turned to look. The two friends glared at each other. After a long moment, Sara put her book down. Fine, buy the scarf. Do whatever you want, she said coldly. They walked out of the store in silence. At the door, they turned in different directions and went home without saying goodbye. The next day, Sara sat on her sofa, feeling terrible. She kept thinking about the fight. Why did we get so angry over something so small? She wondered. She looked at her phone several times, but did not call Betty. On the other side of town, Betty was feeling the same. She sighed again and again. I shouldn't have said those things, she whispered. Sara must be hurt. But both of them waited for the other person to apologize first. Days passed. A whole week went by without a single message. Their weekend tea came and went. Both felt empty, but pride kept them silent. Then one morning, everything changed. Sara received a phone call from Mrs. Coleman's daughter. "Hi, Sara. I just wanted to let you know my mother is very sick. She asked if you and Betty could come visit her today." Sarah's heart dropped. "Of course, we'll be there." She quickly sent a message to Betty. "Mrs. Coleman is very sick. She wants to see us today. Can you come?" Betty replied immediately, "Yes, I'll be there." They met outside the hospital. For a moment, they looked at each other silently. Then Betty spoke first. "Sara, I'm sorry," she said softly. "I shouldn't have talked to you like that." Sara felt her eyes fill with tears. "No, Betty, I'm sorry. I let something small become something big." Betty nodded. "Life is too short to argue." Sara smiled gently. "Yes, let's not fight again over silly things." They hugged, holding each other tightly, realizing how much they had missed their friendship in just 1 week. Mrs. Coleman was lying in a hospital bed, looking weak but smiling when she saw them. "My girls," she whispered, "I'm happy you came." They sat beside her, holding her hands. "I want to tell you something," Mrs. Coleman said slowly. "I have lived many years. I have seen many people fight. Many people waste time. Many people forget what truly matters. But in the end, the only thing that matters is love." Sara and Betty glanced at each other. "My dears," Mrs. Coleman continued, "life is too short to argue. Count your blessings, love, and value the people who love you, and make the most of every day. You will never know how many days you have." Her words sank deep into their hearts. They stayed with her for an hour, talking about old memories, funny stories from school, silly mistakes, happy moments. Mrs. Coleman laughed softly, and her eyes shone with joy. When they left the hospital, Sara took Betty's hand. "Let's promise something," she said. "What?" "That we won't let small things break our friendship, ever." Betty squeezed her hand. "I promise." From that day on, their friendship grew even stronger. They didn't ignore problems. They talked calmly. They didn't let pride stop them. They apologized quickly. They learned to count their blessings every day. Sometimes, when something stressful happened, Betty would say, "Life is too short," and they would both laugh. Years later, when they looked back on their lives, they didn't remember the small fights. They remembered the love, the laughter, and the moments they shared. And they always remembered the lesson from Mrs. Coleman. Value the people who love you. Make the most of each day, because life is too short to waste on anger.